Ram said, "A lamp illumines objects which are seen. Even so, consciousness illumines the objects outside, which are real." And this is a traditional understanding, that somehow we're seeing things out there. But even the scientists will tell you that that's not the case. At best, the scientists will say, you're getting a representation of what is out there. All our senses do is construct a model, and the assumption is that that model is a model of something real, of something out there. But that's an absolute assumption. You cannot prove that assumption. You might as well say it's God that's out there, doing it all behind the scenes. You can say that if you like, you can believe that if you like. But the scientist's argument that there is something behind the senses has as much basis for it as saying it's God. This is the problem with theories of cognition. This is the problem with belief in cognition. So we drop cognition and be with the pure experiencing. Vasistha replied, "The external world has no cause for its creation. An effect does not arise without a cause. Hence it is illusory perception." Again, this is something the scientists and the religious types, they believe that there was a cause for creation. The religious types will say, God did it. The scientific types will say, we'll talk in terms of the Big Bang. This is what their evidence points to. At some point, there was this little ball, this mass, which contained all the mass of the universe, which suddenly exploded. Where did that ball come from? Well, there wasn't any time or space before it, so it doesn't actually make sense to say where it came from. It's a totally ludicrous notion. There isn't any cause for it. So how can there be an effect? How can there be an effect if there was no cause? So we have to conclude that the effect, which we understand as the external world, doesn't exist because there is no cause for it. The scientists will say, well, we just don't understand it. We don't understand what the cause was. But then you can keep going. If you assume there was a first cause, you're assuming that there was an absolute beginning. That's your belief. There was an absolute beginning. So to believe in a cause is to believe in an absolute beginning. But what basis is there for there being an absolute beginning? It doesn't make sense to believe in an absolute beginning. If something has no cause, then we just accept it as something that's happening. It's like a dream. Why do we dream the dreams we have? Some people try and put meaning onto dreams, and perhaps meaning can be extracted from dreams, but not all dreams. There's only a very few dreams that perhaps we can use as that basis. I was listening to an interview with a songwriter who's recently released an album, and he hears his music in his sleep, in his dreams, and he has a recorder by his bed. So when he wakes up, he sings into his recorder. So he's got meaning from his dreams. But I'm sure even he has a lot of dreams which have got nothing to do with his music. There's just a lot of stuff happening. Dreams do not have a particular cause. We might attribute a cause to them. We might get some understanding from relating dreams to diet and our psychological neuroses and all the rest of it. But by and large, there's just a lot of stuff going on. It's a stream of creation, a stream of experiencing. And enlightenment practice means being open to it. Let it wash over you. Don't resist it. Don't resist it with questions. Be with it in appreciation. Be with it in openness.